That was a laugh.
I was a bit nervous about doing it because it was sort of like a hybrid between doing... Normally you'd be in yourself on here and going back to those sort of mix-up of characters. It was fun, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, very fun.
It was mostly like... Because obviously Natalie and I know each other. When Sally did her bit, I was like...
so excited.
I was like, this is happening.
I thought about you two. I was like, oh my God, I'm in EastEnders.
It was really
Natalie,
fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had made the, some would say, brave decision to leave EastEnders, but having just done the scene in Denzie's Calf, I can see a look of regret, am I right?
No regrets here. I'm having a rest from learning lines and I'm loving it. When they handed me that script this morning, I said, please.
Well, I think that we are, after that goes out into the air, well, it has already, I think that the phone will be ringing off the hook for us all. Anyway, it's time to take another of our favourite soap moments, peg them on the line and hang them out to dry. And we're off to EastEnders now. It's the year 2000 and Sonia receives a very unexpected delivery.
No! I can't have it! I can't have it! I'm so frightened. It's got to be happening to me.
Look, there's only one woman that could say that, and she gave birth in a stable, and it is happening, and you've got to deal with it.
I don't know how.
No one knows how the first time round, but believe you me, you'll be fine. I'm with you.
It's coming back.
Go on. Top of your lungs.
Oh.
Honestly.
So is best. Funny, witty lines, plus really dramatic. I actually found that really upsetting, seeing you so scared.
Yeah. Because you were probably 15 in the show and maybe 16 in real life.
Yeah.
And you had well, obviously you had no knowledge of doing that, and it was incredibly real. Do you remember doing it?
Yeah, I do remember it. I remember researching it well. I remember being told by John York the storyline really early on, so we had time. We had a lovely midwife help me. I think I just screamed at the top of my lungs and sort of went for it and just felt the fear, I suppose.
And you related to it because you said you've never seen a birth where someone shouts, no.
Because that was my first birth was no. I just kept screaming, no, no, no. So that was really real for me.
Oh, yeah. Well done. Anyway, Sonia's second labour didn't go quite to plan either. But in the end, all was well. Maybe she was onto something. There has been a rise in mums choosing a wild pregnancy, and that's where they ditch the birthing plans, they scrap their scans, they don't use midwives, and they give birth miles from medical help. Now, is that a good idea, Nadia?
Not for me. That would be too far. But I know that many people do that and have a great outcome. For me personally, I find there's too much medical intervention sometimes, and I think if there's nothing going wrong, I wouldn't want to be induced just because I've been given a date and we're getting close to that date. I would have to have had a really, really good reason to be induced. Right. Lots of people I know...
Did you have home births with the girls?
I had total home births, yeah. I had home births, and with my second baby, I then had hypnobirthing, and I learned, instead of screaming no, to scream yes. And every contraction, I didn't call it contraction, I called it a wave, so that I didn't... Because contract says no.
God, you're a proper hippie,
wave. Wave. Because it helped, because it's like it's a wave, the pain or the discomfort... agony. When it's up here, you know it's going to come back down. And it was incredible. And we didn't call the midwife. It was me and my husband and my homeopath until about the last hour. So we did it. We did it.
Did you not worry, though, that if, God forbid, something went wrong, that there was only your family there and the homeopath and there was no special care unit and...
No, I didn't. I didn't worry because, with the heartbeat and everything was fine. Listen, the thing is, some people feel really safe in hospitals and that's the right place for them. I'm the complete opposite. I go into a hospital and I just get panic-stricken. And I'm also really, really, really embarrassed about body stuff. So I felt like if I'm in a bright room and I've got different people coming and looking at my noonar, I'm going to shut it.
I don't think you would have been bothered at the time.
No, but when I was at home and I could just go, and I could just be like primal, just like a sort of raging.
But fortunately, both the girls were great and they didn't need medical intervention. Natalie, what about you?
I was born at home as well.
Were you?
Yes, 60 years ago, I was born at home.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. Well, I was born by caesarean with my mum.
Were you?
Yes. My mum had me at 44. but I had both my girls, and I really agree with you about the date thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that date is really... Because they only go by the date through the size of the baby, don't they, on the scan? And I remember being 2 weeks late, if you like, with Eliza. And
Starts
then
to feel a failure.
Yeah, and you're waiting, and it's 2 weeks, and then you go into hospital. Then I was induced, and it was just an awful experience. And then I had a C-section. And then with the second one, I said, I'm not doing any of that. A planned C-section, please. But I do feel...
You know, in France, they don't do that date thing.
Really?
They don't do it. You don't have that date given to you.
Right.
And I think in quite a few countries. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you get a bit obsessed with the date.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, and panicked even.
Can I just read, before I ask Sally, I'm just going to read what the NHS says about advice. They say, if you... If unassisted during birth, you're legally required to notify Child Health Information Service of the birth within 36 hours. Now, this is interesting. It's not illegal to give birth unassisted by a midwife or medical profession, but it is illegal for anyone present to undertake the role of midwife or doctor except in an emergency. Sally, were you hospital birth for yours?
Well, just like you, Natalie, I was 2 weeks late. I was induced twice, and eventually they just said, we're just going to have to take you down and give you a C-section. And then I had C-sections with the next 2 children. But, you know, I had everything set out. I did feel a bit like a failure because I had the Raspberry tea and the TENS machine, I had everything organised. It was all going to be perfect. And then suddenly it's not, and you're like, oh, is it? But to be honest, I just felt... I just want a say.
As long as they're healthy,
as long as they're healthy and a say.
And you know what? As women, we can be made to feel ashamed of everything we can do. You know, people over the years have just been... Some people have said some really hurtful things about me having a home birth. I would never say to somebody, you know, don't you think we get judged for everything?
Oh, my goodness.
Is that what feels right?
Oh, I got criticised for having an elective section with my second one. There were medical reasons why I did that. Yes, they were mental illness reasons, but it's still... There were reasons why I didn't go through it again. And also,
isn't it
some
great that
hospitals...
we have the choice?
I felt, you know, I'm at this really trendy hospital, you know, I know I'm going to have all the equipment there, blah, 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 blah. But I think there were risks taken there. You know, there were people being allowed to go too long over. I think I should have had some pain relief. They promised me it would be available and it wasn't. And they said, oh, Mrs. Healy, as I was at the time, we're not in Victorian times. Fast forward to please hit me over the head with a spiked mallet.
You know, some wild birthers, if you tweak your nipples quite a lot, when this is true, serotonin will flood and help your pain relief.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway. Still to come, more soapy situations as we revisit one of Nadia's most shocking scenes. And we're off to Emmerdale next after my recent role as head juror Heidi in Belle Dingle's trial. We're asking, would you be good on a jury? Our verdict's right after this.